I've heard you say that you believe that what psychedelics do is make the mind more fertile for these experiences. Is that a good way to...
Yes, that's exactly what I think. I think you're at that level where the ego's control has dissolved to some degree. And so it's like fertile ground. And so if you've, pre-trained, or if you're ready for a mystical experience, you're more likely to have it in that experience, in that state of mind.
So the mind is actually restricting us in many ways through the ego from having these experiences.
Yes, I think so.
And what psychedelics do is release those boundaries.
Yes. I think that due to the evolution of man, Homo sapiens, and taking the upright position, this is a theory I was introduced to in 1966. And actually, I think a lot of the details are probably wrong, but in concept, I think is true, which is the ape standing upright. One thing people haven't taken into account is, obviously there are hundreds of acids of standing upright. You free your hands, you run faster, you see further, all of that. But in the upright position, gravity is against the blood in the brain. Because in the brain there are two fluid volumes, blood and cerebrospinal fluid, which is water, basically, which is made in the brain itself. So it has kind of squatter's rights in the brain. So when you're in the upright position, gravity is pulling the blood down. So I think probably with the upright position, we lost a small proportion of our blood supply. I mean, some animals, if you tie them upright, a dog, for instance, if it's tied up so it can't get down, it will start howling and go mad because it hasn't got the valves to keep the blood up. And we've obviously got a certain amount, but maybe we lost some blood at that upright position. And as a compensation for that loss, I think we developed an internal mechanism more than any other animal has done it, which is to direct the blood where it most needs to go. Obviously, all animals do that. They have the power to send the blood where it's most important to survival or whatever. And I think that through the use of the conditioned sound, the word, we learned to control that process more than any other animal. And over millennia, we kind of built our power to do that. So that's the secret of why humans, which is just a talking ape, got control of the whole game because of our creation of language, incredible things we do.
Yeah.
But it also has a disadvantage that our state is slightly low in blood in the dominant organ. We have to keep this tight control where the blood is distributed. And that is the whole ego, which is essential. I mean, we wouldn't go to kind of direct the blood where it's most needed. People who lose their ego, and in the 60s when people took large doses of LSD, as it was then, every day, sometimes they lost their ego out.
Mm-hmm.
And there was one occasion of someone we knew who was in, and he'd flipped out and he put the key in the lock, opened the door. Someone would say goodnight to him. He put the key in the lock and left him. And then in the morning he was still there with the key in the door because the head hadn't told him, turn the key over the door. So we need the words to keep us,
Yes.
under control.
Yeah.
So the words have made us what we are, this incredible animal who can, have a nuclear war if we want, or know all the atoms in the body, all those brilliant things we do, amazing. But we're also obviously a very deeply faulted animal at some point. We're, psychotic, psychote, all of those things because of this blood, and then the dependent on the meaning of the conditioning, which a lot of people do.
Yeah.
The separation from reality is, in a sense, in the meaning of the word. The danger for our society now, in a sense, is we're getting further and further away from nature. And that in a way is why psychedelics are a very useful medicine, because they increase the connectivities with the internal body and also the outside perception.